What's up? What's up, human beings listening to this particular podcast at this particular time? I don't know what time you're listening. Probably, hopefully, as soon as it drops. Welcome to the Professional Podcast. I'm here with my good friend, Raza. How you doing, Brody?
I am doing very well on this afternoon here on this particular time, recording this particular podcast.
Yeah, so Raza and we're teaming up. Obviously, Raza's been on I'm Walking Here 4 times, which is tied for the most with Strike a Nation at four. But this show's not about sports. This show's really going to be about everything but sports. We wanted to do something, I wanted to do something that was not sports related to expand my range and see what I could do. And I kind of dragged Raza along for the ride. So, Raza, I'm glad you're on this ship with me, bro.
I'm glad to be on the ship.
So, now that we've established this ain't about sports, no Raza curses about sports on this particular show. Although, I must say he can curse life.
That's definitely happened before, but we're going to hope that that's not the case.
Well, now we're going to have recorded evidence if it happens. So the first thing we wanted to talk about, this show probably would have started earlier, but Raza, you were in Europe.
Yes, I was.
So why don't you tell us, how long were you in Europe?
About 10 days from the 17th to the 28th, but we got there on the 18th. We left DC on the 17th. So.
Right. So being from DC, the capital of the US, going to Europe must have been pretty fun for you.
Well, what makes you say that?
Well, I mean, it's a new experience. I mean,
I've been around the world before. I've lived outside the United States.
I know, but how experienced were you with Europe before going to Europe?
The only 2 European cities I'd ever been to were London and Istanbul, and I was going to 3 new cities. So, kind of experienced, but also kind of not experienced. So.
Well, where do you want to start with? Because I know you went to a bunch of countries.
Well, I went to 3 cities, spent about 3 days in each city. So I guess we can start where I actually flew to from home, which was Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And that was really fun. Arguably my favorite destination on the trip. Because there's a lot of different factors that play into that. One, I had to say the place was absolutely beautiful because I don't know how much you know about Amsterdam, but everything is interconnected. It's like a city of canals, if you will. Everything is interconnected via these canals, and you can take boats on them, and you see people chilling all the time. One time we saw these people on a boat, just driving, or not driving, I guess sailing past us, and they were wearing St. Louis Blues gear. And
they were?
Yes. Don't ask me why. They must have been tourists too, obviously. But I yelled at them and I said, "Yo, Stanley Cup champs!" And then they were like, "Heck yeah!" And we started singing Gloria together.
No, that didn't happen.
No, I swear to God.
You started singing.
Yeah, and then they were like, "Yeah, Gloria, Gloria."
That's sick.
I swear to God, this is an actual thing that happened. So, but yeah, the canals and everything was super cool. The food there is awesome. The people there are super duper nice, the nicest of any place I've ever been to outside of home, because they all speak perfect English for whatever reason. It's not like they're even taught English in school. They're taught Dutch and German in school, but they speak perfect English. They're all super nice, super willing to help and get you through this language and culture barrier. So that also made it such a great place to be, because it was all just really beautiful, very nice. And
so they're into they know English in Amsterdam really well.
Yeah, very well.
That's actually kind of surprising, because I know they speak Dutch normally, right? That's their main language.
Yeah, and Dutch is literally gibberish.
Yeah, it really does. It really does look like gibberish. So I know I don't know if you want to talk about the because Amsterdam obviously is kind of known for its loose laws on certain stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I didn't do anything, but I can't say that like you know, like if you know, you know, you know.
If you know, you know. So answer
I
was
mean,
it?
it is wild though, because like there's this place called the Red Light District, which is pretty infamous, which is just a bunch of like
Yeah,
women standing in like doorways when you just walk past all of them, and they're just like, "Hey, you want a piece of me?" I guess they don't actually say that, but that was an interesting place to be. Even though I wasn't there, I just walked past it, but that was interesting.
so that was your favorite place on the whole trip was Amsterdam.
Arguably, I've been telling people more that my actual favorite place was the second location on the trip, which is we took a train 2 hours south to the city of Paris, France,
Ooh,
and that I can probably say was my favorite location on the trip. Like Amsterdam was super fun because, like I said, of all the things I mentioned previously, and like the weather was also great too. So I got to wear like hoodies every day, and I'm the hoodie god. So
that's
was really
facts.
nice.
Hoodies are A1 for sure.
But Paris was really something else because I'm really a nut for like things like history and architecture and like old art and stuff like that, and just Paris is the place to be if you like that sort of stuff because you have like hundreds and hundreds of years of history and stuff there, and everything we did there was just every place we went was just absolutely mesmerizing. Like it was just awesome.
Yeah, I've heard Paris, like, to somebody who hasn't been there, or like is going there for the first time rather, is like it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they don't call it the city of love for nothing. You can like
That's
feel
true.
the love everywhere you go, and maybe that's just because you see hella couples there on like honeymoons or trips or whatever, which definitely did not make me feel lonely whatsoever.
I'm sure it didn't. I'm sure.
You know, I would never, feel lonely about not having,
What?
that's
What?
not me.
What polar bear?
Yeah, what even is a polar bear? Aren't
Yeah,
those things going
exactly.
extinct anyways? I mean,
Okay, bro.
hey, climate change, not something that should be taken lightly. Speaking of which, while we were in Europe, actually towards the tail end of the trip, while we were leaving, they were going through like a record heat wave.
Oh, oh boy.
It got up to 100 degrees in Paris by the time we left Paris.
It was
like
ugly.
insane, and people were like protesting and stuff. We saw it on the news in the next city that we went to. Like people were protesting, hella, and stuff like that.
I would
because,
too.
Like, the government does nothing to address
Bro.
like, climate change.
If it was 100 degrees, I start protesting too. I make a picket sign and I just yell at God.
I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I'm pretty sure that they said in France it was the hottest days of summer ever recorded.
That's bad.
So, but Paris was fantastic. So we went to places like the Louvre, which is an amazing place for old art. Obviously, seeing like the Mona Lisa and like the Venus de Milo and stuff like that. We went to the Arc de Triomphe, which is that big arch that you see everywhere with giant ass roundabout around it, where for some reason dudes feel the need to take their really fancy sports cars and rev past everyone to definitely not be compensating for something. We got to walk up and down the Avenue des Champs-Élysées, which is this super fancy like place with a bunch of expensive shops and huge ass Louis Vuitton stores with guards in front to make sure that bums like me don't get inside.
Right.
There was a big Nike store which was playing Flashing Lights by
I remember.
West.
Yeah, I remember you. I remember you tweeted about that.
Yeah, so that was good to know that Paris is on the wave. Definitely
sure.
a lot of PSG stores, which were selling Neymar jerseys, which doesn't make sense anymore. But that's sports, so we're not going to talk about that.
We got to avoid sports.
And then, of course, can't go to Paris without seeing the Eiffel Tower, which was absolutely majestic. Fun fact, I actually broke my phone at the Eiffel Tower.
No, you told me about that. Wasn't it your sister?
Yeah, by me, I mean my sister actually just like karate chopped it out of my hand for no reason whatsoever. And you can imagine how hard the ground underneath the Eiffel Tower is.
Very. She dropped it off the Eiffel Tower?
No, we were in line to go up. and she just fucking knocked it out of my hands, and it landed
Oh,
face first on that bedrock level concrete.
that's
And
awful.
yeah, and then I had to go get it fixed when I got back, even though those guys didn't do a good job, and then my screen was consistently glitching. But again,
That's
that's another
besides the
problem.
point. That's
But
besides the point.
going up the Eiffel Tower at like sunset time was absolutely incredible. Getting a view of like virtually everything in the entire city uh, was just incredible. We got to go on a boat tour of the Seine, which is like the big river that connects the whole city. Got to go past things that we would have otherwise gone to if they weren't, partially burnt down, like the Cathedral of Notre Dame.
Yeah,
It was
that's right.
really sad to see like what's going on there. Like it's just, it's like awful. Like my dad was like, oh, I went there 20 something years ago and it was beautiful, and now it's
It's like
shambles, and
it's
it's
like
just,
half gone, right?
well, not no, it's but a decent chunk of it is like, especially at the top, is just really
Yeah,
messed
I'm sure
up.
the roof
So
is pretty damaged.
yeah,
Because
so
when was that? That was like a couple months ago. It was like 2, 3 months ago.
yeah, it wasn't that long ago at all.
Yeah, that sucks for sure.
Um,
Because that's just such a historic building.
yeah, and speaking of historic buildings, we also went to the Palace of Versailles, which is about a 30-minute
Oh,
drive outside the city, and that's an awesome place. Like my favorite thing to learn about in history was the French Revolution.
interesting.
So, yeah, that's a story for another time. So seeing like the hub of like where all this stuff kind of went down was definitely pretty cool. With the exception of the fact that we had to wait 90 minutes in 90-degree heat in a big line to just get inside for whatever ungodly reason. But
Because I'm sure there's a bunch of tourists visiting.
yeah, a lot of tourists.
Yeah,
So that bit was unfortunate, but the rest of it was really great. And they have these like huge, it's such a vast area behind the palace itself with like these gardens and stuff like that. So we took like a golf cart and we were just like skirting around these gardens, and it was super cool. So like I said, as a history guy and like an architecture type of guy, all of the spots we hit were just like amazing, just like absolutely incredible. So Paris, probably my favorite city.
so then you went to Spain, right?
Yes, we
After.
went to Barcelona on
Ooh.
a like a 90-minute ish flight to Barcelona.
So,
Um,
so those were
which
the three. You went to Amsterdam, France, and Spain.
yes,
Okay.
Barcelona was probably my least favorite spot on the trip.
Damn. All right. I get it. You hate Messi. It's cool.
I mean, I do. I'm just kind of um, even though he was in Argentina when I was there.
Yeah, he was preparing to collapse in another final, but that's besides the point.
Yes, besides the point. Um, I did get to meet up with some of my family that does not live in the United States when I was there, so that was really fun. But other than that, I mean, like, there wasn't a lot that was really great over there. Like, it felt the most like the United States, like the most
Spain?
yeah, it felt like the most like a U.S. big city, which to me was a little bit of a turnoff. Um, but uh, other than that, like, there were some good things. Like we got to see what the culture of Spain is like. Like we got to go to this like flamenco show with people singing and dancing, and that was honestly pretty cool. Um, best place we went was this church slash cathedral called the Sagrada Familia, which is this huge ass cathedral in the city, which is actually, it's been under construction for the last 200 years, and to this day it is still under construction, and they said it's supposed to be finished in the year 2026, but
Hmm.
some people have been saying that like when they went a few years ago they said it would be done by 2024, so they just keep pushing it back. But still the grandeur of it is insane, and especially on the inside it's absolutely beautiful, because like how in touch with like you know Catholicism people are over there.
Yeah.
um so the absolute you know majesticness, if that's a word, and just grandeur of this place was absolutely awesome. So that was probably uh the coolest place I went. But I also went to Camp Nou, which was also really cool, and I got like an all access tour of that place. Got to see all the Champions League trophies. Um, got to see got to go on the field level, got to sit in the press box and all three levels of the stands. So that was overall a pretty cool experience as well. And then I came home, and I couldn't have been any happier because at the tail end of my trip, I wanted to come home so badly that I was pissed off for like 48 straight hours, just like pissed off.
I just wanted to go home.
I wanted my T-Mobile to work, you know? Just like,
That's also true. So that's actually interesting because I didn't think Barcelona would be, or anywhere in Spain would be like a U.S. city.
well, I mean, I'm not saying it was like a U.S. city,
But it was the most
like it of the three
okay.
places that I went. Yeah, and like, I don't know, you know, the other cities they're like compact, and you know, you can like walk everywhere. Everything is so close to everything. But in Spain, it like at least in Barcelona, it was like open. You know, there was like skyscrapers and piers and big buildings and stuff like that. I was like, I don't know. You know, most people love the city, but I don't know. I just couldn't vibe with it. I also forgot to mention when we were in Spain, we took a 60-minute train ride to the foot of this mountain, then took the most ratchet, scary ass cable car I've ever been in my entire life, 2,500 feet in the air to the top of this mountain where this church was that you can see from any point in the city, like literally any point in the city you can see it from. And that was cool and all, but that was really freaking scary going, like there was this one pole in the middle of the cable car, and I was holding on to it for dear life, like hugging the shit out of it, like praying, like, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die. And all the other like 20 people in that cable car were just looking at me like, Americans, am I right? And then on the 60-minute train ride back to the city from the mountain, we encountered these Philly sports fans.
In Spain?
Yes, from Atlanta.
Oh, what? From Atlanta?
Yeah, like originally from Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
So I was just chatting shit with them for 60 straight minutes. And they were like, oh, but we got Bryce Harper. And I was like, okay.
So we're getting too dangerously into sports.
Just know that anytime I encountered an American, I would try and either
talk to them,
shit with them, or appreciate them. Depends on where you're from. So, like, if you're in Philadelphia, I'm not going to give you any freaking mercy.
Yeah, exactly. So, speaking of Europe, you know, Spider-Man Far From Home. How about that for a segue? We want to talk about...
That's a great segue.
We wanted to talk about that. Well, I haven't seen it yet, personally. You have. I hear it's
Twice.
Good.
Twice.
Okay, Raza.
I saw it twice in
the
first 20 hours of its release.
Do you want to tell people how many times you've watched Infinity War? Because it's gross.
Infinity War? Probably upwards. If I had to put a range on it, it'd be between 45 and 60 times.
And that's like, what, 2.5 hours?
Yeah, so if we can calculate that.
Oh my god.
At the minimum, 45 times 150 would be 6,750 minutes, which would be about 112 hours, which would be about 4.68 days.
So you spent like over half a week watching Infinity War.
Across the last year and a half.
I mean, I've only seen it like one time.
Well, you gotta pump those numbers up then, my guy.
I should watch it again. But yeah, so I've heard social media and pretty much everyone say, yes, Far From Home's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I haven't seen it yet, but I hear it. Yeah, I hear it's good. So,
Bro, not to spoil anything, but like,
but I'm gonna spoil it. Mufasa dies in Far From Home.
Oh, sorry, wrong Disney movie coming out this summer.
Yeah, not to spoil the Lion King live action, but Mufasa might die.
Per sources.
Per sources.
I know a guy that knows a guy who is close to James Earl Jones's cousin.
Who's close to... What is James Earl... Is James Earl Jones even in that live-action remake?
Yeah, he's voicing Mufasa again.
Oh, he is?
I don't know why they wouldn't just take his lines from the first Lion King and put it into this one, but that's not...
That also... That is weird. Maybe they just wanted to, like, sound better. I don't know, because it's going to be the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I can only imagine how different it's going to be.
I mean, it's just gonna be the Lion King, but CGI,
And with Beyonce.
and Beyonce, of course. Wait, what's her? I forget her role. What is she playing?
She plays the adult version of Nala.
Oh, okay.
So,
Even
though, did you see that clip on Twitter like yesterday or the other day of like her voice as Nala, and it sounded absolutely awful.
No, I didn't. But I doubt that it's going to sound awful once it hits theaters. I don't know. How do you feel about these Disney remakes? Because they've made a bunch. Like,
I liked the Beauty and the Beast one, actually.
I don't think I've seen the Beauty and the Beast one.
Maybe that's because Emma Watson was in there, and
Emma Watson.
See Emma Watson for 2 hours. But I also grew up on Beauty and the Beast. Maybe in a bad way. Like,
what do you mean in a bad way?
Well, okay. I'm the youngest of 3. I have 2 older sisters, and whenever we used to play pretend princess games, would they make me Prince Charming? No. Would they make me the monster that's after the princess? No. I would always be the princess.
You were always the princess?
Yes. So when we used to do Beauty and the Beast stuff, I would be Belle.
You'd be Belle?
One of my sisters would be the Beast for whatever reason, and the other one would always be Gaston.
Hey, man. Hey, listen. I don't know. That didn't have to come up,
No, but I'm telling you, this is what always happens. So I liked Beauty and the Beast. I'm trying to think of which other ones they've made. They made Dumbo, which
I never saw Dumbo either. Did they make an Alice in the Wonderland one?
Well, that was a long time ago.
Oh yeah, that was a while ago, wasn't it?
And that one was good. They made The Jungle Book, which I also never saw.
I don't think I've seen any of them, actually. Now that I think about it.
I'm definitely gonna go see The Lion King.
I probably will see The Lion King. I really like The Lion King
because I have to. I'm gonna keep it $1.50 with you. The Mulan trailer that came out yesterday looked awful.
Yeah, I don't know about Mulan.
Because there's no I forget what the dude's name is in Mulan, but the lead dude of the army, he's not even gonna be in the movie, and neither is Mushu. So it's just gonna be a movie about Mulan fighting as a girl for I don't know, female empowerment, I guess. But that doesn't make any sense. It's they're remaking the movie with a pretty different story.
All right, I don't really hate that concept or whatever, but if it's gonna be a live action remake, that's not what happened in the first Mulan.
Dude, come on. Would you make a Shrek remake without Donkey? Because that's exactly
maybe.
No, you wouldn't. Donkey's the best character in the movies. So
I don't know about that. Come on,
really? So why would you be getting rid of Mushu?
Personally,
the best character.
Personally, my favorite Shrek character is the giant gingerbread man that they used to break into the castle.
He has a name. It's Mongo.
Oh, his name's Mongo? I forgot his name, but yeah, that's probably...
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Mongo.
He walked so we could run.
He really... I mean, that technically did happen.
Yeah, he did walk.
He did walk, and then Shrek ran to stop Prince Charming from kissing Fiona. He really...
I think we have too much of an in-depth knowledge about Shrek 2.
We really do. Is that Shrek 2?
That is Shrek 2, yeah.
How many? There's 3, right?
There's 4. There's Shrek, Shrek 2, Shrek the Third, and Shrek Forever... No, it's the final chapter or something.
I don't remember. I think... Is Shrek 3 the one where the Frog King dies?
Yes.
That's the only...
Shrek 4 is called Shrek Forever After, which makes sense. Shrek 4
I don't really remember... I don't remember much of 2 or 3. I've never seen 4. I remember 1, though.
2 is the one I've probably seen the most.
Well, I remember in 2, it's he doesn't want to be an ogre anymore. Is that the plot? I don't remember the plot.
No, it's that they Jesus, Shrek 2.
You've seen it. You just said
yes, I have. Yeah, they go from the swamp to far, far away.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he's constantly arguing with Fiona's dad because they don't approve of an ogre being the king or whatever.
The prince.
Yeah, and then the fairy godmother proposes this plan where somehow, some way, Shrek is going to turn into a human, and then Prince Charming is going to impersonate the human version of Shrek to get with Fiona, so Prince Charming can be the king. But then Shrek stops it while a cover of Bonnie Tyler's "Holding Out for a Hero," sang by the fairy godmother, is playing in the background.
That's the part I remember the most, bro, because that shit slapped.
Yes, that's a phenomenal scene. And then Shrek the Third is when the king dies. Shrek has to become king. He says he doesn't want to become king, so he has to go find Fiona's cousin named Arthur, who's at college, or high school, one or the other. And then that's about all I remember. Oh, and they have kids. Ogre babies.
Oh, yeah, I remember they have kids. God, Shrek. Oh, my God.
Speaking of... Shrek 4
no, don't...
No, it's like into the Shrek-verse.
Into the Shrek-verse?
Yeah, he, like, goes into this alternate dimension where, like, Fiona's, like, this warrior princess, and Puss in Boots is her house cat who's, like, all fat. It's hard to describe.
Into the Shrek-verse. Speaking of, I know, Raza, it's one of your favorite movies of all time now, and I just watched it for the first time, like, a week ago or so. Yeah, but I watched Into the Spider-Verse. That was a really good movie.
Yeah, fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Definitely in the top 15-ish range, top 20.
Well, you know, maybe one of these days we'll get that list. I know, like, you've told me your top 5, but...
we can do like a full out debate.
We'll do that. We'll probably do that at some other point. I want to see if I can remember your top 5. So I remember one is Star Wars Episode 5.
Yes,
that's number 1.
I don't think that'll ever get top.
Yeah, because you thought Endgame was going to get close, but it didn't. Well, it got close. It's in your top 5.
It's actually number 2.
Is it 2? I thought...
it topped Inception.
Well, no, I know. I was going to say Inception was 2, so it's probably 3 now. Inception's 3? Endgame's 2? Okay. 4. It's really all the ones I remember. I don't remember what 4 and 5 were.
Well, Infinity... 4 is another superhero movie.
It's not Infinity War, is it?
No, it's not.
No, Infinity War's, like, close. Marvel. Oh, Dark Knight Rises.
No, just...
Or Dark Knight, I meant. Yeah, I watched that the other week, too. Oh, my God, bro. Heath Ledger. I don't think I've ever seen a role more dominated than Heath Ledger as Joker. Honestly. Because, like, Bale as Batman was solid. Like, Tom Hardy as Bane was pretty good.
Yeah, Bane was excellent.
Heath Ledger's Joker, though. Oh, my God. Because, like, every scene he's in is classic.
Yeah, every line is a fucking classic line.
I know. Like, he has 2 lines in his intro. And they're both classic. Like, his intro, he just says, "No, I killed the bus driver." And then he says the absolutely classic, "I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger." And, like, just the scores in that movie... And just everything about The Dark Knight is just... Oh, it's so good. The only thing... I wanted more Two-Face, but... That was the only thing I really had against The Dark Knight.
5 is another Nolan film, by the way.
Yeah, it's Inception.
No.
Wait, no, Inception... Where's Inception?
3.
Oh, yeah, Inception was 3. 5's another Nolan film?
Yep.
It's not... any of the Batmans, is it?
No.
I don't remember.
Interstellar.
Oh yeah, Interstellar. That was way higher because when we talked about this for the first time, Endgame wasn't out yet.
Yeah, that was a dark time. Endgame.
That was a really dark. You know, I kind of like that. That was a simpler time in my life when Endgame wasn't out yet.
Why is that?
It's because, like, Thanos is, like, you know, he won, and I like Thanos as a villain, and, you know, it's just life was simpler. Like, there was simpler times. It really was. I think, because when that came out, I think I was still a senior in high school when that came out.
Yeah, Infinity War came out on April 27, 2008.
Yeah, I was still in high school. So times were definitely simpler.
Huh. Me too, that's crazy.
So, like, before we, stop talking about what are your top 3 villains of all time? Because I want to get to that. Because I have mine. I know what mine are, and I'm confident in them.
I'd say in no particular order, it'd be Joker, Thanos, and Darth Vader.
Darth Vader?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Dude, come on. Darth Vader's like the most infamous villain.
Oh, I know. Because mine was Thanos 1, Heath Ledger's Joker 2, and then Tom Hardy's Bane was 3.
Oof. Bane would be up there for sure.
Yeah, because Tom Hardy really did kill Bane. For sure.
Are you forgetting James Franco's Venom from Spider-Man 3?
Can we stop? Can we not talk about the end of the Tobey Maguire trilogy? Because, yikes. I mean... let me ask you, is Tom Holland the best Spider-Man now?
No.
He's not. Garfield's still number 1. I know you like Garfield a lot.
I would put Tom third. I put Garfield
You
second.
think he's You think he's the worst Spider-Man?
I don't think he's the worst. He's just the one I enjoy the least.
What?
I can explain.
I thought Garfield was one for you.
No, Garfield's not. Garfield's not one for anybody.
That's true. He's really not. I've never met anyone that's like, yeah, Andrew Garfield's the best Spider-Man. I've never in my life.
But, okay, I can explain. Part of me thinks it's just nostalgia. Right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we grew up on the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans.
Yeah, and Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 was, I believe, the first Spider-Man I ever saw in the movie theater, I want to say. Because it came out in 2012, so I want to say it's the first one I saw in the movie theater.
That was a good year for superhero movies.
That was a great year for superhero movies.
Yeah, it had the Avengers, the first Avengers that year, too.
And the Dark Knight Rises. I'd like to think that it's a little bit of nostalgia, but here's the thing. People always say Tobey was a good Peter Parker, but not a good Spider-Man. Andrew was a good Spider-Man, but a bad Peter Parker, and that Tom Holland is a good both. I can level with it, but that doesn't mean Tom is perfect at both. I have a lot of problems with Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
What's your problem? Because I think he's the best one. So what is your problems with Tom Holland Spider-Man? That he's English?
Okay. No. What? No. Okay, listen. You know, or maybe you don't. I mean, most people that know me know that Spider-Man is literally my favorite fictional character of all time.
I didn't know that.
I know a lot about Spider-Man. Grew up reading the comics, fucking playing with the toys, playing the PS2 video games.
I remember those. Those were ass.
They were terrible.
They were so bad.
And so I know quite a lot about Spider-Man. So to me, Spider-Man has always been like this self-made dude, struggling in the real world by himself, yada, 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 doing all these things. And you see that struggle a lot in the first 2 Spider-Man portrayals. But then Tom Holland comes along, and he's struggling by himself just for a little bit. But then Tony Stark comes and just pretty much hands him virtually everything.
Why does that hinders Tom Holland's Spider-Man for you? That's what happens in the comics.
No, it's not Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It's Tom Holland's portrayal of Spider-Man. But it's not his fault. It's what
it's how he was written.
Did. I really like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I think he's great as Peter, and I think he's great as Spider-Man. I love seeing him in combat and stuff like that. There's one scene in particular that I can't mention in front of you.
Because it's in Homecoming or Far From Home.
In Far From Home, yeah, it's towards the middle/end of the film. It's a scene involving him and Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. That's just fucking incredible. Really, really, really great. One of the best scenes in the MCU.
I gotta watch it for sure.
I'm wow, Tom's really good there. But the thing is, there's some things I can't say because they're Far From Home spoilers, but think about Homecoming. Tony Stark saves his ass in that movie, not once but twice. And then, granted, it's what Tony Stark does that eventually makes Spider-Man his own dude, and that's how he defeats the Vulture in the end, and that's really cool. but like his suit is given to him and eventually taken away by Tony Stark. Like the villain is only a villain because he's been wronged by Tony Stark. Everything somehow always has to tie back to Iron Man and not Spider-Man.
But that's not Tom Holland's fault.
It's not. It's not. And like I said, I like Tom Holland's portrayal of Spider-Man, but it's those reasons that turn me off when it comes to his portrayal of Spider-Man. Well, it's not his fault. It's what's given to him. I understand. Okay.
But, like, to be honest with me, right, you're normal, like, I know you love Spider-Man, you love his, you know, his backstory and the way he's written, but, like, be honest, if you were a normal, like, you know, I watch MCU movies, but I'm not crazy about MCU movies, like a normal person, would you really want to watch a third backstory where he has to go through losing Ben, he has to get bit...
No, I'm perfectly fine with just having that stuff glossed over a couple sentences, because, like, I don't really need to see that, you know? Like, I like it when it's, like, a kind of an alternate version of the story, like you see in Into the Spider-Verse, with a completely different Spider-Man, but that's, like, I'm not saying that's why I don't like it, you know? I'm perfectly fine with all that stuff just, you know, being implied because we all know Spider-Man's story. I just wish some things could be taken in a different route. Now, again, saying Tom falls 3rd out of 3 doesn't mean that I hate him or I think he's the worst, quote unquote.
I don't know, man.
I just kind of enjoy him the least, if you will.
So I don't know. I think if I went...
And again, that could be nostalgia playing a huge factor, because when the first time I saw The Amazing Spider-Man 1, I absolutely loved it. And to this day, The Amazing Spider-Man 1, I would watch over Homecoming.
Over Homecoming, not Far From Home, though.
Definitely not Far From Home. I think Far From Home is the 3rd best Spider-Man film.
Behind what?
I'd probably put Into the Spider-Verse 1.
Into the Spider-Verse 1?
I'd go Into the Spider-Verse 1A, Spider-Man 2 1B, and then Far From Home 3. You know? Like,
Into the Spider-Verse was really good. I really did enjoy it. I don't know, man. I like Tom Holland. I was talking to Ian, who, the Ian I do IWH with, and he actually edits the show too. So hi, Ian. I'm pretty sure you mentioned the Blues and Gloria earlier, so he probably got mad. But we were talking about this, and he said after Far From Home, he'd be willing to call Tom Holland the best Spider-Man if it was good. Obviously, I think everyone thinks it's good. I don't know if he's seen it yet. But yeah, because like for him it was like, well, he only has one solo movie, so I don't think I could call him the best yet. That was his like thinking behind it.
That's fair. Even though he's been like, he was so sick in Civil War, and
like he has a bunch. He's featured in a bunch of MCU movies. Like pretty much, well, he's featured in 2 Avengers movies, Civil War. Is that it?
Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame.
Yeah, those are his features. Yeah, so
and I love him in those. I love.
Yeah.
I don't hate any Spider-Man portrayal. Like, I love all of them.
What if I played Spider-Man? Would you hate that portrayal, Roz?
Anyways. Dude, I was just about to say, you would just go up to, like, whatever villain it is. Be like,
and just shoot webs at him.
You would change your web shooters so that when you fire webs, it wouldn't go like, they would go,
That would be funny, though.
Someone should definitely make that.
Yeah, someone should definitely edit that. Yeah, for
like
sure.
the person that replaced every Minecraft sound with like some sort of meme. Have you seen that video?
I have not.
That is an incredible video.
So speaking,
every sound in Minecraft gets fucking replaced with a meme.
So speaking of memes, I was actually going to use Spider-Man as a transition because he's got a bunch of memes. But since you brought up Minecraft memes, the last thing we wanted to hit home on or talk about was just like the evolution of memes and like memes now. Because like when we were growing up, we grew up at basically the same time. Like the iFunny was just like so big growing up. Like we all wanted to be featured on iFunny when we were
like
young.
iFunny and like, dude, remember 9gag?
Yeah, I do. I do
Gag
remember
that was-
9gag.
which still exists, by the way, and it's.
I'm
really
sure
funny
it
to look
does,
back on,
yeah.
as is iPhone.
Well, okay, but think about it like this, like, because that style of memes, like the Bad Luck Brian, what else? Was it Good Guy Greg? Who was the Scumbag Steve, right? Was the guy with, like, the backwards hat and the jacket?
Yeah. Kind of looks like Ian these days.
Oh, Ian definitely got mad at that. What are some good iFunny, like the Rage comics? The Rage comics were like the Me Gusta or
Oh my God.
the Troll Face.
The fucking,
Oh my God.
The thinking Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh yeah, that one.
The baby
God.
who's like fist pumping.
Yes, on the beach. Oh my God, bro, that's so nostalgic. Like these memes. It's weird to think about these memes, like, because we look at them now and just be like, we kind of use them ironically now, because like they're not actually funny, but like we were genuinely laughing at those memes, like not even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like it's more like
what?
7, 8.
Yeah.
Oh my God, because like you look at those memes and it's like, wow, that's really fucking stupid. Let me save this and use it ironically, because
I
we
feel like
do that all the time.
I feel like the transition probably began in like the Vine era. Like when we
Yeah,
were in
Vine.
middle school,
Oh
you know?
my God,
As
Vine
soon as,
changed
Vine
things.
Vine, Instagram, Twitter. As soon as those things came on the come up,
Yeah,
the entire game of
That's-
memes
that's-
just like changed.
that is 100% right. Like because then we got like videos. Because then we got creative memes.
Yeah.
Because like before Vine, it was just all like pictures or like a funny video. But like a funny video is not necessarily a meme. It's just a funny video.
Like you said that the memes we grew up on were like the memes we just mentioned. Like if you think about the kids that are entering high school right now, the memes they grew up on are like
Were
the memes they
Vine.
saw in like Vine compilations and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's
like
exactly right.
Those notorious Vines that are on YouTube now
Because-
and stuff like that.
because
those
Vi-
are their memes.
Okay, listen, because Vine, it gave a creative platform, because like you had to come up with the idea, and you would have to it started
Execute it in 6
trends.
seconds.
It really started trends. Vine really because people still quote Vines today,
Yeah, all the time.
so it's just weird because we grew up on Vine, and the generation under us, basically TikTok is Vine for them.
Oh, that's a great point. Very
Yeah,
sad, but great.
it is sad. Well, because TikTok is kind of like Vine a little bit. Like, I know obviously there's the terrible ones, but like you can't tell me a good ironic TikTok isn't funny.
Yeah, some of them are fucking hilarious.
Like some of those are hilarious.
Like the ones you see on Twitter and stuff like that.
Yes, those are funny. And that's what kids today are growing up on. They're growing up on TikTok. When we grew up on Rage comics, Bad Luck Brian. Bad Luck Brian was my favorite, I think. I really like Bad Luck Brian. I think I related to Bad Luck Brian as a 12-year-old. And then once we hit middle school, it was Vine, and it was all Vine. Now it's just like, I feel like now we get our memes from like popular movies a lot, because like especially the like Marvel movies and Avengers
do provide
movies,
a lot of
because like there's so many Thanos memes, and they're all fucking great.
Yeah, or like last year, like one of the biggest memes, like the "I don't feel so good."
Yeah, I Don't Feel So Good was a huge meme. Endgame, we didn't get like extreme amount of memes because it was more serious.
Bro, tell that to the pictures you stay sending me of fucking
Okay.
Thanos saying.
It's literally, bro. Okay, no, there's only 2 Endgame memes, and it's the one with Thanos just sitting there. It's just, bro, that's kind of cringe. That's probably one of my favorite memes.
That's fucking hilarious.
And then the "What will you do? Wait," that's a good meme as well.
No, there's a lot of Endgame memes. Dude, one of my favorite memes that I saw that involved Endgame, like, okay, do you know when they go back to New York? And
Yeah.
the Hulk goes up to the Ancient One asking for the where Stephen Strange is.
Yeah, Banner, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Professor Hulk. Is the
Professor Hulk, the worst character I've ever seen in an MCU movie.
Oh, did you see the re-release?
No, I haven't seen the re-release.
All right, wait till you see wait till they officially release the deleted scene that they showed after the credits.
Oh boy,
Professor Hulk. I paid $7 whole for.
oh brother.
I have no complaints, but like, you know.
I could have lived without it.
The ancient one is like, oh, you're about 5 years too early because Stephen Strange hasn't shown up yet. And someone posted a picture of her saying, you're about 5 years too early. And it says, when you liked Yeezus in 2013.
That's kind of facts. I still don't appreciate Yeezus.
Oh, okay, by the way, this is a good point. We need to have like an entire fucking show dedicated to
we could, because we're both massive Kanye stands. Kanye is one of the things we've bonded over.
Initially, yeah, that's fucking fact.
Because Kanye, we could do a whole segment about Kanye. We might have to at some point.
That's intel right there. That's public intel.
Yeah. Well, we do this as we go.
Yeah, this is all, It's not like we have something to go off of every week like I'm walking here.
Well, first of all, there's no we on I'm Walking Here because you've only been on 4 of 47 episodes, Raz.
Hey, that's like a 12th of the episode. I'm practically a mainstay.
I don't know about a mainstay. You'll probably be having more appearances as soon as I don't know when your next appearance on I'm Walking Here will be. But I think in terms of memes in general today, I feel like we're way more creative. Because back then, when we were growing up with iFunny and stuff, it seems like all the memes were like, there was not really original memes, it was the same templates, but with like original ideas on the templates. Yeah. Now, I feel like we just meme everything. Yeah, like, anything could be a meme.
Yeah, did you know I wrote my college essay about memes?
Did you
One
really?
of my college essays about memes.
Like, what specific, like the evolution, or just like a meme in general? Like, what a meme is?
Yeah, it was like talking about what memes are and like what memes are to me. I swear to God.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you get into that, or was that an entrance essay, or what was that?
It was in the application.
Did you get into that school, Roz?
What were we talking about?
Never mind that. All right.
That's gonna be my fucking.
That's another.
When I transfer school, it'll just be like,
let me in, please. No, that's another meme I've used a lot lately. The what if memes. Those memes are great.
It'd be so stupid if I actually wrote my college essay about me,
unless like that would be funny. Like, because that meme, that joke is like could be used in so many different ways. Because like, it's like, I could have done that with you asking the show. It's like, Raza, what if we did a podcast together? Nah, that'd be crazy. Unless, what if we did do one? Oh, we're about 50 minutes into one right now? That's nuts.
We made it.
We did make it. I don't know, man. Unless you got more stuff to say about memes, I think we could kind of end it here.
I mean, I guess the last thing I can say about memes is that my existence is one.
Your existence kind of is a meme.
Yeah, literally on Twitter, I'm a fucking meme.
Yeah, because you're known for getting stuff wrong. Because
I feel like this is going to be the most stupid sentence I've ever said. But it's like the Raza curse is public knowledge.
It kind of is.
Like, people know about it.
I get what you mean.
Know about it.
Yeah, because most of the time it's like I could say I'm doing stuff with Raza, and he's like, oh, the guy that's always wrong. Because you're literally known for being wrong, which actually is a talent. Because there's a lot of people in big media that are known for that too. So
yeah, maybe that's a fucking sign that I'll just be on the news someday.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the news. You can't really get the news wrong. It's not opinionated. It's news.
Well, maybe I'll be on a fucking, I don't know, a show where I talk about my takes or something like that. I mean, okay, let's be honest. When I'm walking here, I've gotten shit wrong consistently.
Well, yeah, that's sports though. I get shit wrong all the time when I'm walking here. You could probably make a 3-hour compilation of stuff I've gotten wrong exclusively.
I think the Raza curse is more like instantaneously getting things
That's
wrong.
True, because
this thing cannot be fucked up until I say it will not get fucked up, and then it immediately gets fucked up.
Yeah,
like stuff like that.
Because Tua was about to take this bitch down the field, or that's kind of. I think it's kind of like a radius, because you said the one day until we beat Clemson, and then however many, because that wasn't instant. That was took time because the game didn't start yet. I don't know. You're just it's incredible. And everyone, sometimes I get questioned why do you bring Raza and I'm walking here? He's always wrong. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about conveying in an entertaining way, which Raza does brilliantly. And that's why I did this show with him, because he's good.
You're gonna make me cry.
Let's not cry. There's no crying. There's no crying in podcasts.
Thank you, Thomas Hanks.
No, that was Abraham Lincoln, actually.
No, I was actually. You know the girl that was crying when Abraham Lincoln said, "There's no crying in baseball." You know who that girl grew up to be? Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish. Okay. So I think my favorite Abraham Lincoln quote is, "Never believe anything you read on the internet." That's a good one. That was smart. He's a smart dude.
My favorite Abraham Lincoln quote would have to be... This is kind of tough. There's a lot of good to choose from. I would have to say... It's when... Who was Abraham Lincoln's wife again?
Mary? Is that her name?
Abraham Lincoln's wife once asked Abraham Lincoln, "What will you do?" And Abraham Lincoln said, "Wait."
Okay. We're done. We're done here. So that was the first episode of the professional podcast.
Very professional indeed.
It was. That is kind of the point. It is ironic, as we did mention. Ironic memes are our favorite. Please tweet us any ironic memes, to be honest, even if they suck. Just any ironic memes. So if you want to tweet ironic memes to what are you doing, Roz? If you want to tweet any ironic memes to @itsbrizz, ITSBRIZZ, or @RazaU_, RAZAU_. By the way, everyone that calls me Briz, yeah, I'll accept it, but it's B-Riz. Let's grow
Really?
up. It is B-Riz, actually. And I've always found that kind of weird, because, most of the people I work with, you and Ian, specifically, because, Ian just goes by his name, which is fine. You go by your first name, which is fine. But I have, a completely different alias. Even though I put my name on these shows, so I don't have to go by it, what I do, but I just like it. It's been my nickname forever. So I just go by that. But yeah, that's going to be the first episode of the professional podcast. We personally hope you enjoyed this.
And don't forget to follow the pod account.
Yes, do that as well. @ProPodShow, which is really fun to say fast.
ProPodShow. Oh, that is kind of fun.
Yeah, it's fun to say.
I like that.
Yeah, I fuck with that.
That's why I fuck with you. Anyways.
All right. Bye, lads. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Yes, sir.